Good day. Welcome to this Friday evening. And this is something I want to discuss with you because it is a topic that I absolutely love. This is now called the collapse of CNN. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll talk about this. First, before I forget, Born to Raise Hogs, thank you for your kindness and your charity and your beneficence. Thank you. Thank you immensely. That's what I say to you. Thank you. Now, there is a story that is out today about this fellow named Chris Licht, Licht. And he is a big shot, well, the producer, the head honcho of CNN. And he's the CEO, and they're bringing in a COO to oversee him. The CNN CEO, Chris Licht, hired longtime Zaslav confidant David Levy to be CNN's new... That's not the way I heard the story, but whatever it is. There's a story from Politico that shows the disaster that is going on at CNN, and it's a disaster. And of course, everybody, because people are so monumentally mean, and we all are supposed to hate CNN. People laugh at this, and I'm thinking, oh, no, I've seen this before. I can relate to this. Now, I want to ask you a question. And Born to Raise Hogs, you get the first crack at it. I want you to do a thought experiment with me, much like the drone operator who says, oh, that was just a thought experiment on my part when I mentioned that the AI drone. Yeah, right. And I want to ask you a question. And the question is very simply this. You have been hired, you are on my team, to fix CNN. Now, I know every bad comedian in this group is going to run and not be able to handle this question. I know that. I know it's a waste of time because you will not be able to even remotely answer the question that I'm about to ask you. But what would you do to turn CNN around? Now, I know you can't do it. You can't do it. I recognize the fact. It's because every instinct in you to be funny, to be whatever, you will. It's just too difficult for you to do, and I recognize it. And I recognize it. You will not be able to do this, but I'm going to ask you to try. Try your best. Hypothetically, you're coming in there and you're going to say, "All right, I'm going to change CNN," because people, believe it or not, love all this stuff because Fox News is changing drastically. See what they're doing with the weekends? They're getting rid of Kennedy, and they're replacing Kennedy with the best of Larry, whatever his name is, Larry Kudlow. The best of Larry Kudlow. Is there a best? Is that oxymoronic? I kid, of course. The British guy in the weekend, he's gone. They're bringing in Harris Faulkner. Yeah, there's something going on. And if I didn't know, but I'm thinking, I think you're trying to sabotage this thing. And that guy Typhus, I watched by whatever his name is, Typhoid. Oh my God, what are you kidding? What is this? What is this? Some Coachella Burning Man reject? What are you doing? What's going on here? I know what you're doing. You're sabotaging it. I know. Meanwhile, poor Sean Hannity can't figure out what the hell to do. Throwing Trump under the bus, but we'll get to this in a moment. But what would you do? What would you do? Oh, by the way, little side note regarding Biden. Liz Solak. By the way, Lizzie, how are you? How's it hanging? The how do I say this? What am I trying to say? Oh, yes. The word has it. The unofficial word is behind the scenes. In the Biden administration, they're very, very concerned. Because doctors are saying, from what I'm hearing, doctors are saying he needs a walker. You know the visuals of that? He needs a walker. What? I'm not talking Johnny Walker. He needs a walker. Dear God, do you understand what that means? He needs a walker? They can't do this. They can't do this. They need a walker. Dear God, no. Can you just think about this? Think about right now, you're in the White House. And if you believe this story to be true, and let's just assume arguendo, which is for the sake of argument, as opposed to innuendo, which is an Italian suppository. But let's ask this question. Let's think about this. What would they do if they had Biden on a walker, if he couldn't walk? Hang on. What would they do? So keep an eye on that. This was a very, very scary thing that happened the other day. Very, very, very scary thing. Very scary. When he fell. Mrs. L was saying this. Did you happen to see did you see a sandbag anywhere? Did anybody see a sandbag? Who has a sandbag? Maybe he thought it was a sandbag. I don't know. But then he hits his head on Marine One. Now we've got, he's taking a header while falling down. This is not good. This is not good. Allen Ginsberg. Alan Dershowitz is like 85. He'll be 85, 86, whatever the hell it is. I saw him recently in New York. Stopped, chatted with him very quickly. He was walking on the street. This guy couldn't keep up with him. He's great, smart. You never know. You get to a certain point. So anyway, that's what they're thinking. They're scared now. They don't know what to do. And debates. I mean, it's come to a head. It's come to a header. In any event, let's go back to CNN. What would you do? What could you possibly do? First thing, you want to hear this? Let me give you the news. Number one, if I walked into CNN, and first of all, I don't hate them. And this Chris Licht, I feel sorry for. I swear to God, I see what he's going through. I see it. I know it. I've seen these fellows. What they're putting him through, oh my God. Oh my God. Here's what happens. Number one, you sit down with David Zaslav and whoever's running the show, and you say, all right, number one, what's the best that you could ever expect from CNN? Number one, could they ever be number one? Maybe. You always look to see what's the potential, what's the ultimate. And the reason why is this. The human body, the human species can only run so fast. It will never go 60 miles an hour. It cannot do it. The human body cannot run 60 miles an hour. The arm cannot throw a ball X amount. People, things just cannot happen. Either by virtue of the weight, by virtue of the size, the girth, CNN, you got to ask yourself, could you ever be number one? Could they ever? And what do you mean by number one? Number one in the demo. The demo, by the way, is at 25 to 54, 25 to 64, whatever your main market demo is. See, in the old days, when they would do ratings, whether it was the Arbitron ratings for radio, if it was Nielsen, you would look and you would say, well, number one with whom? Kids, 12 plus. What does this tell you? 12 plus. These have this thing, 12 plus. Sixth graders to death. What if you sell Clearasil? You sell to a kid's market, theoretically. Where would you go? Well, you got to look at the numbers. You want to see 12 kids. They don't go below 12. In 6 years, that's it. At least they did then. I don't know about now. If you're trying to promote Disney radio or Disney products or whatever, maybe you go there. If you're trying to sell Depends, if you're trying to sell tinnitus stuff and wheelchairs, you want to find out who was your 54 plus or 65 plus. You look at the ratings based upon the market. You might be number 112 plus, but you might be in the demo. These are called 2554. That was like the best. That was the plum spot. Those are the people with money. They buy cars. They buy this. They buy plane tickets. They're not too young. They're not too old. 2554. That was might be different depending upon your market. So you got to ask yourself, what's the market? Believe it or not, years ago, Lou Dobbs may not have had the best ratings with CNN, but he sold. Oh, they loved him. Ford, Lincoln, Mercury, this big ticket stuff. Don Imus, his ratings sucked. We used to beat him all the time when I was doing mornings on WABC. I'm not just saying that, but they sold. He sold more. He billed more than anybody because of his audience, because of the loyalty, because of whatever it was. Same thing with Stern and others as well. So the first thing you got to do is it's all advertising. Next, understand cable is all carriage fees. You make your money right off the bat. Before you do anything. Because you've got to negotiate with the cable companies, go to CNN and say, okay, we want to carry your thing, and then you sell them. And okay, so it's a little bit different than a radio station that goes out and whatever. Enough of that background stuff. What would you do? Rule number 1. What is your audience? Your audience is a bunch of lefty liberal types who hate Trump. Good. I would give them nothing but lefty liberal stuff that hates Trump. I would have the best news people. When I say news, I want the best story selectors, the best producers. Tell me the best stories. I don't care whether I believe in this or not. I'm going to pick the best thing. Give me the best stories, the best people, the best. I want to pull in that. I want all the libs and the progressives and the wokies and all these folks to wake up and know that CNN is where they go for that. And I never veer. Fair and balanced my arse. I don't want fair and balanced. Somebody wants fair and balanced. What does that even mean? It's stupid. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Fair and balanced. Stop that. Nobody wants fair and balanced. I want to hear what I have to say. What I want to hear. Tell me my thing. When you go to a station, you like stuff that kind of appeals to you. I sample stuff to find out what it is that the other side's kind of saying, like what's the enemy saying, if that makes any sense to you. But I don't go, put it this way, I don't want to hear about Biden. I don't want to hear about Biden. I don't want to hear it. It's not because I don't like Biden. It's like he is not in my wheelhouse, not on my radar. I don't care. I want to know when he falls down, not because I'm laughing, because it's not funny. I want to know what's happening to see, okay, now I turn to the right. Okay, what are they doing? But rule number 1, who is your audience? Roger Ailes did this. Who's Fox News is? They're letting you down. They're letting you down. They're letting you down. They're not who they used to be. They're not who they used to be. When Alex Jones was Alex Jones, right around, I'd say 20 years ago, there was no show more interesting than him before he kind of lost his mind. When I say lost his mind, I don't think he really lost his mind, but I'm saying before he just went, I don't know what. It was fascinating. Great stuff. I love the subject matter. I love the take. I love the, and this is then now. Not, whatever. And it happens to people. They kind of... Howard Stern had this thing. I never listened to a day of his show, but this is what his fans tell me. And I might be wrong, but this is what I hear. When Howard Stern was on whatever his FM, whatever his New York station was, he was this guy, this lonely guy who was married. He had 2 daughters and a wife that didn't like him, didn't love him, didn't care for him. And he would sit in his basement and watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he was just a miserable guy. And people related to him. Just a guy in the suburbs. His parents hated him, and he was his snot nose. It was great. Then he hit it big, and he lost all that. I will never. It makes so much sense. I used to work with a guy years ago, and he was one of the most talented radio people of all time I've ever heard. Bob Lassiter had a voice from God. Listen to his old stuff. Bob Lassiter. You've never heard a voice like this. And he was smart, and he was quirky, and when he was at his best, he was so good. And then all of a sudden, he was making some money. Whatever that means. And all of a sudden, on his air, you heard this. You heard this, the noise of like metal or something hitting the desk. Because what's that? And he said, that's a gold ring. I thought, that's it. It's over. It's over. It's over. Schmuck. You just lost your... You came into this. You brought these people in, telling them kind of who you were. And all of a sudden, you're a big shot. See, you did it too. And that's kind of what some of these folks do. It's a weird way. Then you get people who were kind of like, whatever they are. They kind of stick to their MO. What's their MO? What's their thing? Now, there was a time, I swear to you, if Don Lemon worked, for whatever reason, I want nothing but numbers. I don't care what he says. Give me the numbers. Don Lemon thought and asked the question whether a plane, MH3, whatever this Malaysian flight, could have been dissolved or absorbed by a black hole in our atmosphere. This is how stupid this man is. In our atmosphere. Now, most of the time you would have fired this person and say but you know what? If that worked, if he worked, whatever it was, I look at the numbers. They love him. You're staying. I don't care what he says. Left, right, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Chris Cuomo, is this working? He was doing great. Why get rid of him? I don't know. I have no idea. Why get rid of Zucker? Why? I'm going to say something right now, and this is why I probably can never be in management. If you have affairs and stuff, other than if you're a predator, why are you firing anybody? Unless you're a predator, unless somebody's complaining about you, that's a different story. But what did Zucker do? What's going on here? It was the beginning of the end. And by the way, people who work with him loved him. CNN was great. So now they got this poor guy, Chris Licht, and he's getting called, supposedly, I don't know, by Zaslav every 5 minutes. And I've seen it. I've worked with people before. You have no idea. The program directors, the news directors, the people who don't know, who call on the phone. They're at home. They're driving. Hey, I heard you do that. Why'd you do this? Oh, my. What are you doing? You're killing this. You're killing the spirit. You're freaking this poor guy out. Whatever they paid Chris Licht, I promise you, he's probably aged 10 years. And my heart goes out to him. I mean it. I guarantee you, if you work in media, your boss is an idiot. Let me just say this again, and I'm going to just tell you this. If you work in media, the person directly above you is an idiot. Guaranteed. It's like nothing I've ever seen. I've never. John Cleese said that. Something similar to that. It's the most incredible thing you've ever seen. Ben Shapiro Wisdom says, stop stating the obvious. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Love you, babe. Ben Shapiro Wisdom, $1.99. Thank you, Ben. Hey, Ben works for people, not me. Can't do it. Can't do it. Don't know why. Can't do it. So now they have these things that sort of work. They work, they don't work. I don't know what it is. Sometimes. Next rule of TV, next rule of anything. When you change things, better change it big or don't change it at all. Don't tweak a little bit. Don't tweak. Don't be very careful. Okay? Be very careful. One of the things they're doing, and I get these drive-bys. Just go by, look at Fox News. Okay, let me see that morning. I see what they're doing. They're doing a lot more of this fluffy stuff. Girls with being leggy, let's do this. That's garbage. That either works or it doesn't work. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let me ask you a question. Everybody knows this. When you were growing up in your town, and I don't know if this is around the rest of the country or the rest of the world, but I'm sure it happened here. What was the name of the guy who was your local news stud? You know, your Walter Cronkite, your Bill Buell, your whoever. We had, Hugh Smith, Ray Dantzler. Who was your the local guy? It was almost like, not a star, but wow. This guy was. Did you remember when you had, I don't know about you, but we had in Tampa, Florida, we had this guy, Paul Reynolds, was Shock Theater, Shock Armstrong. And it was Friday nights, 11:30, Shock Theater. Scared the hell out of me. He had a mask. It was a Frankenstein mask. It was stupid, but he scared me. But he was the guy who was on during the day. Chris Rose, Bill Bond. You see this? You remember these people. Who was yours, honey? Give me a name. Somebody from your youth. A big, yeah. Bill Buell. Roger Grimsby. Sue Simmons. Marvin Scott. Marvin Scott, who's been here forever. Bill Moyers. Glenn Rinker and Ann Bishop. See, that's what I love. That's what I love. The local. On the 6 o'clock news. Ding, 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 ding. 6 o'clock news. Glenn Rinker and Ann Bishop. Good evening tonight. Remember that we started up? Thank you, Ann. And they would do this thing, and they had this. Doreen Gensler. Ooh, I like that. I like that name. And of course, remember they would do this as a news with Don, and there would be a picture of him like tearing off a news feed in the newsroom, looking at you like this, with Glenn Rinker, Ann Bishop, and then somebody would be with Weatherman. We had Roy Leap, and he had his Doppler weather, and he was like looking at when he was at the top of the building, putting his finger, doing something, And then they had the sportsman, the guy, and sports with Murray, whatever it is. Joe Cupo, the weather guy. That's right. See, the weather. And he was always, and it mattered. It mattered. There were some things that were just. We had a guy one time. Our channel. We had our main evening anchor was arrested for solicitation of prostitution. It was like, what? What? Listen to this. People were just, what? Ron Burgundy. Anyway, and there it was. And when he did what we watched that night, he's going to announce this. Oh my God. Everybody was watching it. Oh my God. Hugh Smith. Oh my God. The Big 13, Pulse, Channel 13, The Big 13. Remember, he was wanting to show her The Big 13. All these jokes, man. Everybody was watching this. And you know what he did? He came out and he said, I'm paraphrasing. This was so many, 45 years, I don't know how many years ago. I have earned your trust, but I let you down. And I have instructed my lawyer, we're going to be entering a plea of guilty. This woman, this very nice policewoman, did nothing wrong. She's not, I'm like Bookman here on Seinfeld. And she did nothing wrong. So I've instructed my lawyers to enter a plea of guilty. And I've let you down, and that's why I cannot continue one more day in this position after I have defiled and desecrated this particular trust that you've placed in me. And that's why tonight I want to thank you, but I cannot continue. The phones went crazy when they actually went crazy. And they said, no, don't. No, I'm leaving. No, it's okay. What are you doing? I'm serious. No, don't do this. Don't go, please. Come on. It was brilliant. Until the second time he did it, and then that was another story. But it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. This was the connection. Remember when Bill O'Reilly had the boot, because he had that, whatever he did with the allegedly, I don't know the whole story. Remember the story with the whatever, some producer or something. I don't know what they do. But I wish every one of these people would say, if you come to us here at Fox, and we find out that you're doing this, we will destroy you. Do you know, if you really need hookers or whatever it is, we can't tell you what to do. Please, these women are trafficked. But if we find out you so much as look at anybody here, especially somebody under you, and since you're at the top of your... How can you throw away? How stupid are they? But remember that? They said, Bill O'Reilly, see you, Bill. And somehow, Fox survived. Sean Hannity, genius, follows Bill O'Reilly, follows Rush Limbaugh. Ta-da! So what's CNN? CNN is who? I don't know. What can they do? What can they possibly do? Blow it up. That's an expression, not literally. Blow it up. Start all over again. Why? Because you're going to be watching. You're not going to be watching if you say, okay, we're going to move Anderson Cooper. Is Anderson Cooper really that good? I don't know. And here's another thing, too. Let me explain something to you. Listen to me carefully. Don't worry about what you like. You can sit there and say, I don't know. Like you mentioned Ben Shapiro. I can't listen to a second of him. There's so many people, but he's very popular. And if I look at the numbers, he's popular. I'm keeping him. That's it. I don't care whether I like him or not. It doesn't matter what I like. It doesn't matter. I think the whole, Anderson Cooper may work because he's just been there. The rest, I don't know. And I'm not going to look at to guess what I think. Might be too many people. It might be I don't know. But there's certain things that are good. Do you remember when Rachel Maddow came up? We were both at Air America. Rachel Maddow was the biggest. She left to go to MSNBC. She was the biggest thing, basically through Oberman, who has just lost it. Have you seen Oberman lately in these screeds? Oh my God! Please, somebody help this man. What happened to you, dear? Remember when he was reading those? Remember when he read from who was it? Not Spinoza. Anyway, he would. Anyway. When Rachel Maddow first started, people loved her. Women. And by the way, she was always very, very, very nice. Always. Always nice. Never. No, nothing bad to say. Fox 5 New York says, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Thank you, Fox. Remember that? How long did they do this? It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? That was a local thing. They still do it. Pix 11 still did the Yule log. I think they still do it. I don't know if they still do it. Yeah, they copied it. The Yule log and also the honeymooners. And did you ever have your local, who was that guy? Officer Joe, what's his name? You would have your local stuff in those old days. You build a brand like that. We had Barney Bungalupper, Hector Hambone, local, Ernie Lee in the morning, going to school in Florida. Ernie Lee, and give me some elbow room. There was this guy, he was from Berea, Kentucky. Big guy, had a big Gibson acoustic. The guy playing the bass. Barefoot Barney Barefoot Barney Reynolds. And they would play this stuff, and they would go to the fair. And anyway, that was our life. We don't have that anymore. Remember when CNN meant something? Remember during the first Gulf War, you went to CNN. CNN was the greatest thing in the world. CNN was it. It was it. And now, what is it? So the first thing Chris Licht again has to do is what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You blow the thing up. You start all over again. So people will say, who are these people? You start scouring. Get liberals, get whatever it is, and you got to get somebody who truly believes what they're saying. You know this one, Caitlin, whatever her name is, the one who did the town hall with Trump? She's okay, I guess. We'll see. I think she did a good job with him. Trump had to go on CNN to get a good town hall. He goes on CNN, on Fox, and Hannity trashes him. You got to make up your mind. You got to get this story straight. Is Fox a Trump station or not? Is it a Trump network? Because when you don't, if you violate that, that condition of trust, you're through. You're done. You're finished. I don't give a damn whether you like Trump or not. I know people who live and breathe by him. And if you do anything that is in any way construed to be as not representative of your love for him, they'll kill you. I mean it. And this is the part that I don't know how to do it. You would have told Zaslav the whole time, I can't make this number one. You've got stuff that doesn't work. Look at the numbers. Look who these people are. Why do you want to get rid of Don Lemon? Why? Why would you want to get rid of Don Lemon? I don't understand this. I never understood why Fox, no matter what they did, you got rid of Judge Napolitano, one of the best things they ever had. What are you doing? What, did he kill anybody? What are you doing? What's the matter with you? And who's your star now? Harris Faulkner? Are you reading this right? Are you seriously? Again, the numbers may be through the roof. I don't think so. They want consistency. They want constancy. And when they got rid of Tucker, say what you want, there's something weird about this. You connect with a network. Fox was different than anything else. Fox became emblematic with this. By the way, it's one of the top 10 hated. The Trump International. I think it was even worse than Al Qaeda. You know, I mean, people just it was the greatest brand ever because it just. And look at these people. They're there for a long time. Whatever you want. I never watched Fox, but it doesn't matter. I love it in terms of the model. I never eat at McDonald's, but I love to study the constancy, see what they're doing, see what's happening. I love that. I want to see how are they doing this. I love the business of things. I like the way, I just like the way people, and I like when new shows start off. And you're thinking to yourself, what do you think you're going to do? How are you going to lure me? First thing you want, controversy. Controversy. I want controversy. Think about it. Has anybody seen the show called News Nation? You ever seen that? Yeah. What do you want to see it for? Have you heard of it? No. Well, what is it? Well, they got Chris Cuomo and Dan Abrams. Anybody else? Yeah. Anything? What? Oh, and Ashley Banfield. Oh, anybody else? Maybe we can get Elizabeth Vargas. You know, like kind of like I don't want to say retreads. That's a very wrong thing. But okay, do something. Why am I going to find out about this? Get somebody in trouble. Say something. Do something. Get it. Just make me watch this. Tucker he's always said, can you say that? Did you hear what he said? Jesus, he had on Bobby Kennedy Jr. What? He had on who? Oh my God, Orban. What? What? Talking about it. What did Hannity ever do? Well, they didn't have to. He was his number one in his thing, but there was always something going on. There was always, you can't say that. They hated him. I can't believe this. Hannity had on Trump. That's ridiculous. You can't do that. Yeah, I love that. CNN, what? The people who were getting traction, you fire them. Don Lemon had some kind of a kerfuffle, some kind of a thing with somebody in a bar or whatever it is. Okay, did he kill anybody? No. What are you doing? My rule is, did you kill anybody? No. Okay, consider keeping. Put him on probation. Make it sound like he's real, like they're real. How do I say this? Make it sound like it's a real, like he's contrite. Make it sound like he's, how do I say this? Make it sound like he's real. He's real sad. We're bringing him back. Should we bring him back? What do you think? We're asking you. Something. Anything. That's all it is. Just anything. Does any of this make any... I don't get it anymore. And let me also tell you something. I would be the first person to have somebody on who has a regular podcast show or a regular show. And a guy that I've always liked, he's been a gentleman to me, Aces, is Styx, Hexenhammer. I would have his show, wherever the hell he is now, just as is. Nothing else. Don't move anything. Don't touch anything. No. Just leave it right there. That right. Don't change anything. Just do your thing. Do your thing. Sit in your bed with the hair and the whole bed. Do the sorcery or whatever. I don't care. Just do your thing. And this is what people would say. What the hell is... What is this? What is this? Doesn't look like a regular guy. Looks fine. But I'm saying, that's what I would do. First thing I would do. Put him on the weekend. Put him at night. I don't care. You got this typhoid guy. Big guy with a hat. Whatever his name is. You got him. I would have people say, what? Did you see that guy with the hair? And he talks about stuff? I say, you might have to tone down the language, but other than that, it's exactly what I would do. It's exactly what I would. I would scour. I would have people. There's so much talent on the internet. Have you seen how good dancers are? Have you seen how good dancers are on YouTube and whatever it is? Have you seen this? It'll blow your mind. But no, who do they have? Ashley Banfield or Harris Faulkner or Campagna or Kaylee McEnany. I mean, seriously. Are you kidding? What do you do that? They're okay. But try something different. This is what's going on here. This is new. This is different. This is the stuff that and when it comes to weather, would you still have weather? Would you still, yeah, but I would do something a little bit different, maybe. Maybe. Anything. Let me ask you something. We had a guy one time who was a radio genius. True. When radio matters. His name was Randy Michaels. One day we're in this meeting. He says, "What are we selling? What are we selling? What are we selling? What is it that we're selling? What is it that we are selling? Tell us. Tell us. What is it? Information. No! What are we selling? When you crack open that mic, what are you selling? Me? No! My opinion? No! The truth? No! What is it? Is it talk radio? It says, we sell ears. That's it. That's all we sell. We sell, you listen to our show, you get these many ears. You listen to that show, you get that many ears. That's it. It's money. When was the last time you watched CNN? When was the last time you watched CNN? When was the last time anybody watched CNN? When was the last time? Anybody? Did you ever watch CNN? I'm serious. This guy, Chris Licht, we love to hate him. We love because they are, the enemy and all that kind of. I don't believe that. When was the last time you watched CNN? Think about it. When was the last time? I don't know. What would it take for you to watch it? Do you really want to hear? I'm going to tell you who they had on CNN who was fantastic, and you're gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna tell you who was great. Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta is wonderful. Jim Acosta is the perfect heel. When he would ask Trump stuff, it was magic. I would watch all the time. It was great. I didn't agree with him. Doesn't matter. When was the last time, seriously, you are a consumer. Fox News has lost it for me. There's nothing exciting about it anymore. It is milquetoast. It's not the same. It's just, I've outgrown it. I don't know what it is. I'm so tired of that stuff. I'm in this G.K. Chesterton thing where I just can't get enough. I cannot. We watch, what's that called? Father Brown? Yeah. We get something called BritBox on cable. Do you ever watch that? It's fantastic. Look at this. Carson says, last time I watched anything useful was back when O'Reilly was on because it was funny watching Bill argue with people that were wrong when they were right. He had that wonderful thing. You did this. You watched this. I was on Bill O'Reilly's show twice. And once he goes, you're a liberal. I said, I'm not a liberal. Anyway, that was the first time. Second time, he said, when he changed his name to The Factor, I said, it sounds like a blood disease. RH Factor, but he didn't get it. Anyway. I'll tell you the story. There was we had Olympics, some Olympic game or something. And the Olympics wanted to show or to fly a flag that flew over ground zero after 9/11. And the Olympic Committee said, no, you can't do that because that's a political statement. Bill went crazy. And they said, would you want to go on and debate him? Or whatever? I said, absolutely. So I went on. I thought about it. He said, this is not a political statement. Well, this is in New York. I said, excuse me. The Olympic jurisdiction merely has a site, a country where you have the site of this, but it's their jurisdiction. It's not the American Olympics. It's not the Greek Olympics. It's the Olympics, and their rules apply irrespective. I said, let me ask you a question. His idea was, this is a flag. The world was the victim of terrorism. How dare you say we can't fly it? Screw you. We're going to do it. Okay. I said, let's assume that the Olympics were held in Hiroshima, in Japan, and they wanted to fly a flag that was over a courthouse the day we dropped a bomb on them. And it was a flag that they used to remember the day we dropped a bomb on them. And they want everybody to remember the day we dropped a bomb on them. What would you think about that? Well, that was war. No, excuse me. That's a political statement. Yeah, but no, from their point of view, they saw it. I said, let me try this one. This was the second one I got. So let's assume it's in London. And they wanted to fly a flag that draped the coffin of an English, let's say Bobby or English soldier, that was killed by some IRA gunman. How about that? Because, he's Irish. These phony baloney American Irish. What about that one? And he kind of, sort of, But it was true. Remember the time there was some kid whose father died on 9/11 and Bill went berserk. I mean, I thought he was going to kill this kid. I loved it. Why do I tell you this? Ready for this? Think about this. I want the world like wrestling. It's wrestling. The work, the heel, the baby face, bringing heat, putting them over. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's easy. So Chris Licht, wherever you are, I feel sorry for you. I know what this is like. I know it. I know it. When people, you have no earthly idea when I see people who drive folks crazy. In any event, all right, dear friends, listen. You have a great and glorious night. Take it easy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time with us. We appreciate it immensely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oops. Where is our... let me see here. Doggone it. Let me see the live. There we go. All right. To our wonderful folks who donated to us, thank you so much. Room Full of Hogs. Oh, Fox 5 New York, thank you. Ben Shapiro Wisdom, thank you. And to our hog friends, thank you as well for your kindness and your incredible, your generosity. I mean that. Today was a tough day. I just gave you 47 minutes of my life. 47 minutes of my life I cannot get back. I gave it to you because you deserve it. That's it. All right, dear friends, have a great night. Don't forget, go to Mrs. L's YouTube channel at Lynn's Warriors. Also follow her on Twitter at Lynn's, Lynns, apostrophe Warriors. And I'm at Lionel Media. And by the way, where's Gonzalo Lira? Anybody? Anybody know where Gonzalo is? Does anybody care? This is an American citizen. I think he's Chilean as well. Who, what is it, the SBU, whoever it was, they came and they took him. They snatched him away because he's acting like a damn fool during one of his manic episodes, broadcasting from Ukraine, but still, where's the American? What about the Marine in Russia? Remember the Marine? Does anybody care about these people? Does anybody care? Apparently not. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious night. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until we meet again, on behalf of a grateful nation, I remind you of the final words. Final words. And I want you to know this. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. See you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.